Welcome to today's 1 Million by 1 Million Strategy Roundtable for Entrepreneurs. Our public roundtable. It's as you know, we do both public roundtables as well as private roundtables for our premium members, and this is a public table. 1 Million's mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million in annual revenue and beyond, and reach $1 trillion in global GDP and 10 million jobs through that process. So what we are here to do, and we are going to be working with a group of entrepreneurs first. This is our 191st roundtable, so we've been doing this for quite a while. And we have a recording of the session available for you for later after the show. So, before we kick off the actual presentation, I just want to tell you that there is a new book out, 1 Million by 1 Million Camp. It's called The Other 99% Entrepreneur's Fortune in the Middle of the Pyramid. It's available on Kindle. Please take a look, and it would be very interested in hearing what you think. If you're reading the show, please use the hashtag 1M1M. Our Twitter handles are at 1M by 1M and at Sramana. You will have the recording available after the show, and also the channel where there are lots of recordings of lots of previous sessions are all on this YouTube channel, 1M1M Roundtables. If I dial into the call and want to chat with me a bit, this is the phone number, 60479-3208, access code 664163161. I'll let you know when we're ready to take calls. So, with Dolly Darko, Moyo TV. Dolly, if you could please unmute your line and tell us what Moyo TV is all about, that'd be great.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dolly Darko. I'm located in Connecticut. It's a net-based TV network. There are about 3 billion people in the world, and millennials are 1/3. So it's a very big demographic. The problem with this demographic is there is an opportunity for around the world. This right now, the show or programming out there for us are just shows that instead of adding value to their lives, now intellectually and corrupt them morally. So Moyo TV is an internet-based TV network exclusively on producing original quality shows to inspire millennials and help them realize their full potential. MTV and other networks on cable are really these young people with shows, over-sexualized shows. And Moyo TV came about Moyo TV came about when I was traveling around the world to do it for a film I was producing for young people. And I went, actually, it began in Mumbai, in India. I met about 150 students in the A section. Told me, the young people said, we don't want a film about HIV/AIDS. What we want is for someone to come up with a good quality show that will compete with the shows MTV is correct with. It was 2007. I wasn't watching and I wasn't watching MTV. I live in Germany. I was a serious person. So I know what they were talking about, referring to fashion shows from MTV. I was aware that MTV was even TV shows. I thought then that MTV was a music video. First in India. And I continued my trip. The same thing happened in Brazil, then South Africa. When the third time, it gave me pause. Then I realized that, look, young people around the world at different parts of the globe are looking for good content that will add value to their lives and their anyway. So the Moyo TV began. I put aside the debate and the might out there for quality shows for this infographic was so compelling that I gave up. I didn't give up completely, but I put aside my HIV/AIDS project and into the possibility of that young people want, shows that will help them, because the our graphic is between 18 and about 30. 8-year-old to 20, people are ready to go to college. From my research and me personally talking to thousands of young people in the course of the past 4 years, I come to realize that there are, in fact, 75% of the young people going to college graduated from, who have already graduated from college, high school, and about to go to college, lack critical thinking skills, zero. The high schools can wait to graduate them because these days schools are profits, making profits. Anyway, so I realized that they go to college and they are not prepared to college work. Young people, some of them, most of them, go and party. These days, they spend 4 years partying and they are paying an exorbitant amount of money to. And yet, they graduate out of college and not even educated, although they have degrees. So, I was doing research. I also saw that there are a lot of young people, recent college graduates with 5 degrees, and yet they lack the social skills to meet the challenges of success in general. So Moyo TV is a destination for this two group of people: young people going to college, young people who have just left college, and young adults in the workforce who have just entered the workforce. Moyo TV is to help them, whatever their journey is, to make the journey easy for them, to give them the knowledge they need to succeed in that journey. And basically, we have about 35 original quality shows that we've developed, created, and we're in the process of producing it. Huge endeavor. It's very expensive. TV is a full-service TV network, so there's the creation side, we create the shows, the production side, produce shows, the distribution side is the technology. It's very complex. It's a full-blown distribution channel. And so I am the founder and CEO, so I have to deal with all the components of this amazing project. And it's exciting because so far we haven't met a single person who doesn't like the idea. And my partner and I, within the past 4 years, we've used our money because we didn't want to give equity. I'm going to brag a little bit because it's important. The Steve Jobs was a very good friend of mine. I was a student in San Francisco when I was 16 years old, and he became a very good friend. And I was very fortunate that he really believed in Moyo TV, and he supported me emotionally. It's so hard at some point I would have given up, but Steve would say, "Oh no, go on, because you have something very, very significant." I see that the years people will be online. They will not be watching cable or broadcast network. They will get all their television 10 years from now. This was 2009. They will be online. So you are at the forefront with these great, amazing quality shows. Don't stop. Unfortunately, I was not ready to raise money before he died. I was ready, and I know how to raise money. He invested his own money. So my partner and I, we bootstrapped, we used every money, and believe me, it's a lot of money because I've worked 16 hours a day, 7 days a week for 4 years, both of us. And it's very expensive because there's a lot of research and the legal fees alone to get things done. It's astronomical. But we have used money. We are at a point where we need other people's money, so we want to begin to raise money. And that's what we are preparing to do. When I came to place because I've seen some of videos. I've watched you, and I think you're very good at what you do. And basically, I need to prepare to raise money. So,
what do you have right now? This time money that you've spent on the project, what have you come? What are the deliverables? What have you achieved?
we are producing some shows. To a TV network, there's a lot that has to be done before you even start producing anything. We could have produced shows and put it on YouTube, but on that. Movie is a brand. It's a brand that we intend to make it a household name in 3 years.
No, I'm not asking you what you want to make it. I'm asking you what have you achieved, because investors don't invest in concepts. They invest in businesses. Business.
Of course. I mean, that's in the past 4 years.
What has that business achieved over the last 4 years?
At several milestones, because the nature of what we are doing. We say not a lot of people launch TV networks. It's a very unusual. The person who did that is Oprah, and Oprah is a name.
Not a lot of people fund TV networks either.
I'm sorry?
Not people fund TV networks either.
And because there are too many. Normally companies do it. We have set up the company, have spent money developing 55 shows. We haven't filmed all of them. We are in the middle of filming some of them. We want to launch by May 2014. We want to then launch with 15 shows, 12 episodes each. And it's a process, and it's very difficult to quantify. This you can say, okay, I have 10 or 5 shows. The process in the middle. In fact, we didn't even think we wanted to raise money. We wanted to use our own money. When we got to production, and right now we are in the middle of producing a couple of shows, and we realized that it takes more and more time, and we realized that before we run out of money in the middle of the production, we better raise money. And this came about 2 weeks ago. We could comfortably use our own money to produce about 10 shows, but that's not going to. It's not realistic. We found that out. And so this decision made a couple of weeks ago, try and raise money.
Sorry, I think this is a fundo situation.
Okay.
Situation. There is evidence whatsoever that there is any shows people have appetite for your shows. We need some validation somewhere. I don't know how this gets funded.
Well, research, that's what research is meant for. And the 4 years, that's what we've done. We have done research with tons of millions, because you can't just wake up and say, I'm going to create shows and shove it down your throat. You have to have research, and we have done a lot of research. That's what we've done. Research, set the business up, the concepts for the shows, develop them, because they're producing shows. You get set up and say, oh, to produce a show about and just run and film it. It's a process. You have to develop the steps. You come up with a concept.
So basically, what people do in the television business, if you don't launch a television network as a novice with no experience in the industry, you don't try to launch a television network. If you're going to produce a show, you take that show and sell the show to another network who has the distribution capabilities and build from there. You don't try to do all of these things at once.
I have a full-blown team to get doing it.
You're a new company.
I have a team, a very capable team. A
startup does not launch a network. If a startup production company, then you use your shows, and if you've got several episodes already done, you go show it to the distribution to the networks, and who's interested in broadcasting that?
Well, that's not our business model. We have
to be your business. If that is not your business model, you're going wrong. You're barking up the wrong tree.
And we don't feel that like that. We've been working on that.
I'm here to give you my opinion. You came here to seek my opinion. I've given you my opinion. That's best I can do.
I do appreciate it, and believe me, I will prove you wrong.
All right. Good luck.
You good luck with your business too.
Okay. Hi, Chris. Yes?
Can you hear?
IO, that's hard to pronounce, and there's too many syllables in the name of the company.
Yeah, but we need a name until we figure out what we're going to call it. This word comes from Nepal. It means light. Nepal is where I'm planning to go next month. Project. Chris, you can left that I have a Chinese name because I lived in Taiwan for a long time. I'm
Okay.
an internationalist. Can we get
Where are you calling from right now?
in Bulgaria? I've of this year, but coming to an end this week. These people are actually not my customers, but these are the end customers for what we're trying to do. Thank you. 2 billion people in the world earning less than $50 a year, and they're things that we want, obviously. And everybody is trying to develop solutions to help these people, and there's still 2 billion very poor people working right. So the next slide. Well, it's very easy to make something that's attractive. We can do a solution for people, but nobody seems to be thinking about making it attainable. How do people find out what you've got, and how do you actually put it into their hands if you're with very little infrastructure? Once they want it, how do you make it affordable to them? So in the next slide, Pink is my customer. She's a preparer. We've chosen an Indian photograph, but could easily be in Africa, South America. And the new proposition there, that's very easy to understand, I think. We want her to serve some of these 2 billion people. The first market we're looking at is for kerosene lighting. Obviously, people are talking about solar. So now, there are still 2 billion people burning oil to their homes, even though solar solutions exist. And it's expensive. It's polluting, it's poisonous, it's hazard. And you can see in that picture, you could not read a book by the lantern. So it's not an effective solution. Next slide, please. The guy left, John Rockefeller, he made money selling kerosene oil for light, and you can see how much money he was worth. If you say that number out loud, the solution just sounds ridiculous, because this is a for-profit business. Make $5 a month out of 2 billion people. Edison down at the bottom there, and everybody thinks that he was in the business of selling light bulbs, selling technology, selling physical products to people. He made his money selling a consumable, which is electricity. The fella. And Rockefeller used to give away oil lanterns to create those. Thomas Edison didn't really make money from light bulbs. He made money from electricity. And the market at that time, when those people made all the money, the population was only 1.5 billion people. So the population was less than the number of people burning oil today. So it is a huge market. The idea of giving people these electric lanterns and power them with a little generator that's powered by human power. And one of the advantages of this is that it's a very intensive solution in an environment where labor is very cheap. Capital-intensive solutions where capital is expensive. That generator, I've tested this myself. If you work for 1 hour, you can charge 5 batteries, and each will power one lantern for 25 or 30 hours. So 4, 5, 6 hours per night for 4 or 5 days. So if you're working half day, you could have 100 customers with that one generator. And you tell somebody to turn the pedal for you, and you focus on customers. So I think 100 customers is a pretty simple example here. And we're going to Nepal next month to do customer validation, to actually test this with people and find out how many customers can you serve and how much money can you make and can you for this. And that's the question. So next slide. You know it's attractive. The question is to make it attainable and how to make it affordable. That's what we're focused on. We're not a hardware business. We're not selling generators and lanterns. We buy them wherever they're cheap. That's why it's cheap here. And then we service. We sell the electricity and we make ongoing revenues for our partners and ourselves. Next. 4 American and 1 international company can give answers we need. Mux takes a process, they turn it into a simple business model that anybody can copy, and they scale it. A very similar thing, but Amway works on the basis of recommendation. Your friends and your family, and you sell to their friends and their family. So it's all about who you know. It's all about who do you know. And we use Facebook to sell things. It's a marketing channel based on the idea of the social graph, which is the relations between people. Social graph in a different way. They call it social capital. People who will put their hand up and say, yes, you can trust this person, then that means you can buy an expensive product that can make your life better. A corporation. I've added them in because when they started, there wasn't any infrastructure for credit in the way that we know it today. There wasn't the credit scoring systems in place. So they're the same kind of market that Grameen Bank is in today. There isn't a pre-existing system that they can use. But they handed out credit cards to 60,000 people, and they used the data that they collected to work out what their business model was to be. And I think of all of these approaches and enable people to have better electric light for them using a kind of a microfinance model. We call it Pico Finance. We enable people to be able to access finance to products which make them a little bit wealthier and which enable them to start businesses which make people around them a little wealthier. I'm supported in this by the RSA, the Royal Society of Arts. I'm a fellow of the RSA, and they've given us a little bit of money to play with in the announcing our customer validation field trials, which are starting next month. I think, did I add one more slide? We're on Indiegogo. We've got a little campaign. It's closing today. We haven't raised funds, I think, is all that we're going to raise from this. But it's what you could call it a first attempt for us, a first try at raising some money through our networks. And that money just goes into the pot, into a revolving credit fund to help finance new people to start businesses in Nepal. Done.
My suggestion to you is look at a company called Celco in India. Celco?
No, how do you spell that? C-E-L-L?
No, S-C-L-C-O. Solar, for the bottom of the pyramid model, deals with banks who provide financing to buy solar lights, and they basically are electrifying the rural Indian landscape.
So 1 million people still burning oil? You're telling me to look at these solar solutions, but nobody is figuring out how to get stuff into the hands of the people. Sorry.
Study on Celco. To do, from a business model standpoint, not very different from what this company Celco is doing. And you need to understand that business model and how to pilot it with your product and main pilot it? You said you want to pilot it in Nepal, fine, that's okay. So what pilot it, you need to figure out how it work. If you want to raise, these companies, the kind of companies you're trying to build are funded by social innovation funds. Typically, innovation type of ventures, Unitas, and there is, Media Network does this kind of financing. There are types of financiers who specifically focus on these types of projects. So you need to understand the business model, you understand the rollout model, and pilot it successfully, and then go to the social venture model to raise your financing.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Munyanji.
Hello. Hey, you able to hear me?
Yes. Where are you from,
Yes.
Selvam?
Yeah, I'm India, Chennai.
Okay.
So we are basically, first of all, I would just thank you to give me this opportunity, and we are trying to build a social blogging platform. So this is a each and everybody's life. There is a reading and writing habit in everybody's life. So we have starting our product based on this one character, and the reading and writing will everybody having as a hobby in their lifestyle. It's like on a Google search, right? So people are if it lost something, then next thing you will be go to search something. So that kind of a human characteristic in turn that build into our product. So everybody start reading and writing from their schools and colleges, and it continues throughout their life. The medium gets changed. Yeah, please next. The medium changed from one place to another place. In your school days, you are reading your notebooks and start reading from your board and start copying into a notebook, and then into the after the computer evolution, then we started writing into some blogs. So please move to the next slide. Yeah. So these platforms, reading and writing platforms get changed. So you can write in your blogs through TV and reading from your mobile devices, tablets. So things get changed. The providers also, a lot of people are there. There is bloggers, WordPress, a lot of blogging supporting providers are there. Please go to the next slide. These guys are supporting this kind of a reading and writing habits. So you can raise your voice from your side.
Hey, what are you trying to do here? We have plenty of blogging platforms. This is an old industry. It's a mature industry. There are established platforms. What is the point of having another blogging platform at this stage of the game?
Yes. Question. So we try to do some kind of a network. So each and every blog, it's not they are with these blogging services. I just listed up here. So how do I get the audience for my blog post? So let's take it one moment. Like if you're just to blogger service, you can freely your blogger service. I personally started my blogger service just thinking as a non-techie perspective. You are started writing your own content. You have to try to get the audience to your content.
Yeah, you get audience by writing good content and marketing that content. You don't get audience by writing crappy content on, and looking for a platform that's going to help you. The way game is very simple. You have to produce quality content that can hold the attention of readers around, whatever segment that you're trying to cater to. You need to provide them quality. That's the function of good, solid writing or good, solid content, whether it's video content or images, whatever it is that you're producing. It's a function of content. It is not a function of platform.
Yeah. So the content really is the key in this role. So content plays a role, but these guys are trying to provide a platform with some very basic features. But what we are trying to do is we're trying to give some different features, getting audience like let's say.
This is a really bad idea. I'm sure a very talented person talents and do something else with it that is more worthwhile. This is a bad idea.
So let's say I would like to sit down, give one like at this point of time. So the bloggers having their own content, their own in their mind, they start writing it. So the problem with them is how do I get audience? How do I get popular their blogs? How to read them? See, it's not kind of there is not guarantee that their content needs to be published in the New York Times, right? So it has to be, and some editor is there.
You're identifying a problem, which is the problem. Starting a new blog and getting that blog propagated is not an easy task. Yes, that is absolutely correct.
Yeah.
The platform does not solve that problem.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, we have a new platform that helps people to solve this kind of problem.
You cannot solve the problem because that is not how you market a blog. Why people's blogs don't make it in audiences because they produce crappy content. Most blogs have absolutely crappy content. And introducing a new platform does not solve that problem. And about the blogs that do have good content, yes, they have process two of generating traffic. That happens through search engine traffic. It happens through building relationships with other bloggers or other writers who then mention the writings. I mean, there's a whole process to content marketing, and then there's social media sharing and all of these things. These ways in which blog content gets shared. Now there's a new platform. WordPress is an excellent platform, and several other platforms. It's a good platform for that category. I just don't see the basis for another platform right now. You have time.
Thank you for commenting.
Try something else.
Okay, sure.
Or who's next? Is Tarek on the call? Maureen, who's next? Just calling in. Sramana is calling in, it sounds like. We're on. So Maureen tells me in the chat we should go to the discussion and then come back to the call-in session. We will do that. So what we are going to do, I'm going to spend 5 to 7 minutes explaining to you how we work with entrepreneurs. And come back and do more discussions. Whoever wants to call in and chat can by dialing 650-479-3208, access code 664163161. To tell you something today based on like a couple of patients that I just listened to, and I was observing the reactions of the entrepreneurs who are listening. I tend to be very strong people. It kind of takes strength to be an entrepreneur. You can't be an entrepreneur, be a successful entrepreneur if you're faint-hearted. It's a challenging task that needs a tremendous amount of nerve and confidence and strength. And this personality type that generally becomes entrepreneurs is also a personality type that has difficulty and whether it's criticism, whether it's critique, constructive feedback, whatever you call it, you it and he agrees with you, it is difficult to accept that point of view. The entrepreneurs are people who can take. You don't have to accept all the input. There is kind of an art in selecting what part of the input to take and what part of the input not to take. But you should understand the point of view of what input is coming from and what is the rationale behind it. For example, we discussed the TV network project here. TV networks are incredibly capital intensive. So, if an entrepreneur or a startup just says, I want to start a TV network, the likelihood of this kind of a project getting funded on concept is minuscule. So what I generally do is to mitigate the risk of financing and build step by step. So if you have different assumptions that you're trying to validate, you go down and try to validate in pieces. The advice I gave Molly when she was presenting her TV network project, she's got a few episodes of produced inside her own TV network. She has a show which she could take to networks and distribution and get to finish the production of, which then creates a position where she might be able to say to investors that, okay, we have successfully produced a television show and that's running in such and such network. That care of one level of validation. But to listen to feedback from the TV network and says that this attempt to finance a TV network, which is very capital intensive, is good. Just because we don't operate that way. Holly was not interested in my feedback. From what she was not interested in my feedback, and hence she understands what the rationale behind that feedback. If you're an entrepreneur, try input from people who have experience. I'm not to take every Tom, Dick, and Harry's feedback. Typically recommend that you take your grandmother's feedback on how to build a business. Is a successful entrepreneur or a business industry person, which is possible. If you from experienced people try to understand the rationale behind that feedback and the logic of the analysis that is being provided. So if you like what we do, in the fact that we give you feedback, give you the kind of input that we believe you need to hear, not what you want to hear, we tell you what you want to hear. If input from me that you're trying to feedback on, and if I say that this sounds great but still need to validate blah blah blah, that's just a feel my experience of looking at lots of businesses and working on lots of businesses. I tell people business idea is not going to work. Today was one of those rare cases where I actually told somebody that the business idea is not going to work. This is the blog platform one. Because it's obvious to me, no industry, that this business is going to fail. So normally, however, people have less obvious business ideas that with real customers. If a business idea, and normally tell you is to work with customers to try to understand that business, what the customers are looking for, are they going to pay for it, and so on and so forth. We have extensive, comprehensive validation methodology that puts you through. We take positions on whether an idea is going to work or not, unless it is as obvious as the blogging platform idea we just looked at. Most of the time, you either validate or invalidate in your idea by following a validation methodology that we teach you, but work with the target market, typically not your target market. To maybe serial entrepreneurs or women or something that some audience that I fall into, typically not your audience. I only believe that you want to work with your target audience to decide whether your idea is going to go somewhere or not. So here are resources that you can use to figure out where you want to go with your business if you use the 1M1M platform. Everything 1M1M.com. We have a blog that is completely available for free, and there I gave you a show for the energy and light case. Gave you a referral to one of the case studies on the blog. You can go read it for free, understand that case study, and try to replicate it within your segment. Merchant case studies. Our program runs on case studies in the angle of it. We use these case studies into Entrepreneur Journeys book series, and find those on Amazon, Kindle, Flip, and so forth. Published actually 5 of these now. The one that just came out. The other 99% entrepreneurs. And find case studies that synthesize concepts and topics that you need to learn about. That adds up to the 1 million by 1 million methodology. Of course, 1 million by 1 million is a much more comprehensive presentation of our case studies and of our methodology. And through the website, through our premium program. We offer you these roundtables every week. You can discuss your business, your strategy, your position, whatever, your financing strategy, whatever you want to discuss, your customer acquisition strategy, typically at these roundtables. And we have had a tremendous number of people attend these roundtables. It's a known forum. Go to the website and sign up and book your slot to pitch. Calendar there. In addition, we have one premium program for which we charge a $1,000 annual membership fee and give you extensive methodology guidance through lectures and case studies We have private consulting sessions, which are the balance of this forum. It's kind of these roundtable formats over WebEx, but they're and therefore our members only. We have development, introductions to customers, channel partners. We have the strategy consulting we provide is in this mode, in this roundtable mode. Financing, if you're a fundable company, we help you with financing, and we do a lot with media relations. So we've covered that it's very difficult for small companies to access to media, media coverage. That's something we are mitigating through our program as well. The $1 Million Club introduces you to some members in our program who have reached $1 million in annual revenue. An ROI equation on the website. We call it quantifying the 1M1M value equation. Our value proposition at $375,000 plus 5 to 10% equity worth of value for just $1,000 annual membership fee. So that's a value program, and you can understand through the write-up on the site how that breaks down in what segments, what elements that breaks down into, and we have lots of orientation material on how to use the program effectively. We take the 1M1M self-assessment, point questionnaire through which you can assess your own business and see where your knowledge gaps are. This is, if you go to investors will want to ask you these questions, and you will need to have real answers to all of this stuff. Screenshots from the project and where you will find all the information, all the material from our site, what to expect from the premium program, video FAQs, all this will help you evaluate the current way we teach in video lectures and case studies. We've been developing case studies for 7 years. The most comprehensive collection of case studies in the world in early stage technology and technology-enabled services entrepreneurship. You can do studies, and basically what we have are synthesis in the form of video lectures and then case studies. You can learn from essentially over 600 entrepreneurs who have come to our forum and shared their journeys, shared their strategies, shared their stories. And we split up the curriculum into two modules. The core curriculum is bootstrapping, positioning, market sizing, customer validation, customer acquisition, financing, and team building. In the electives, we teach you Web 3.0 and e-commerce, cloud computing and business solutions, outsourcing and consulting, mobile and social apps, healthcare IT, online education, gaming. Our is lean, capital-efficient bootstrap startups. If you want to raise financing, you're going to have to get your business so that investors can invest in something that seems to be it's working. And if you have a capital-intensive idea, down and validate it in pieces, you need an experienced entrepreneur who can raise, amounts of capital on the strength of their own reputation. There are other ways of raising very much of capital without validation. That we teach you methodologies through which you can put one foot before the other and create your journey. As a media, we have a clout in the media, and you'll find coverage of 1M1M premium members in here on this page that is accessible from our press page. It'll give you the kind of coverage we do. We also have access to our social media channel, which is extensive, and you can propagate your messages and your ideas through any product through social media channels, and that includes Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. also available to, propagate your ideas. We cover right pieces of you, so you get known in the audience. We have quite a big following. Pretty much the 1M1M program, if you are representing a group or a website that focuses on entrepreneurship development, we do have an affiliate program, and you're welcome to become a partner of the 1M1M program. We have free roundtables every week. Please go ahead and book your slots with Maureen. You can go through the website and register to pitch or attend. And if you've registered to pitch, Maureen will be in touch with you with the instructions. Book where you could find ideas. It's a digital economics-oriented book that focuses on emerging markets, and it has $45 billion ideas for emerging markets. We have an incubator in a box program, which a lot of companies, other organizations are using to launch their own incubators. So that's kind of it. I think it's question and answers soon. Reminder about the other 99% book available on Kindle. This synthesis of my thinking about what's happening in the entrepreneurial ecosystem, why over 99% of the businesses out there get rejected, why 600,000 business companies go out of business every year in the United States alone, and globally a much larger number. What things are happening and what can be done to prevent what I call infant entrepreneur mortality. So, before Q&A, you can ask questions in the public chat or you can dial in. So, is anybody on the call? Janaki Pendyala and Sarang are calling in. So you have to let me know that you are in the call, so I can you're on the call, so that I can call. I can ask you to. Sarang on the call yet. Any questions in the public chat? Let's give Sarang a few minutes to come in, but in the meantime, Chris, go ahead, please. In the forum on your next session. Basically, anybody who wants to pitch goes to the website, to the free public roundtable, and we have registration links over there. You register through that to pitch, and that's it. There you go. It's giving you the page. See either Sarang or Janaki Pendyala in the call, in the room. Are they? Janaki seems to be on the call. Janaki, are you on the call? I don't understand. Sarang is in the room. And we have Janaki slides as well. What's yeah. And just the panelists. on. Questions in the public chat, folks? Please go ahead. Membership before having the opportunity to pitch. So roundtables, the Thursday roundtables are free roundtables. You don't need a premium member to pitch. Pitch at the free roundtables. However, we do not give you an opportunity to pitch. Basically, if you're trying to work with us consistently on a regular basis, you're going to need to join the premium program. Chris is asking, but I need to be a premium member to get to the 1M1M self-assessment. You don't need to be a member to see the questions on the 1M1M self-assessment. However, if you're trying to use the curriculum to how to fill gaps on questions, a lot of people don't know how to validate their business. People don't know how to position their business. And curriculum modules attached to the self-assessment that is to plug those gaps. To access those curriculum modules, you do need to be a premium member. Is that Chris? Either Sarang or Janaki on the line? Have you dialed in? Who is? All right, let's go to slides. I'll go to your slides. Go ahead.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes.
My name is Sramana. I completed my MBA operation and entrepreneur.
Yeah.
This business stage. India, planning to open a logistics company according to the needs of our I will target my observation. There are patients under surgery. Next. Yeah. To open logistic facility. To help or undergone surgery. Because feedback of the surgeons and doctors after the surgery, a very crucial time for the patient. Even walk properly. to design cab that needs to be suffering from.
So, patients can one cab service? One at a time, but if you look at the logistics of hospital and you know that you want to cover in Pune and so forth, start with one cab and try to validate this idea. Do you think you can cater to?
For the cab,
Service.
cab is totally customer driven.
My question is simple. If you to you know figure out one cab and design it the way you envisioning it, how can you service? That's one. And question number two is, how are each of those patients willing to pay you?
Cab will be cab will be right. We can of the cab which
You a very specific question. I'm asking you numbers questions. Understand that you need to customize some inside the cab to deliver what you plan to deliver. Question is, how many patients can you service with one cab? What are they willing to pay you? Let's do this cab service with one cab for a month. How many patients can you service? What to pay you?
patients can be served. Currently, they are using auto rickshaw.
Okay.
And that's around 300 rupees. Auto rickshaw, they are not trustworthy. Still, the leg injury with that. For the service, the patient from home and living is a destination. And
right. The logistics of this is quite complicated because if I don't think you can service 100 patients, by the way. You can service 100 patients. So what I want you to work out is how are the numbers of this business? How many cabs are required to service how many patients, and what are they? I think these are about the payment side, what you think you can charge, and which seems to, at least within it seems to make sense to me. Management is what's called in fleet management terminology. It's called occupancy management, yield management. This part really work out in a lot more detail. So if this is something that you want to do, is it. We have made up with one orthopedic center, a couple of doctors in a certain neighborhood, and start working with their patients. And what the business looks like in terms of numbers and logistics and so forth.
Right.
Take
Here,
a month or two to do that part, and then then an idea about how to build this business. Right? I don't think you know exactly what's going to play out. Work out, find the business.
but here I made one assumption.
Go ahead.
That side. Yeah, here in orthopedic hospitals, assuming that patients come for their physiotherapy setups daily basis.
Yeah.
So is give
Okay.
for one session,
Yep.
and for driving and 30 minutes for drive.
Right.
So 10 patients I can serve.
Yeah. How can you have patients on the basis?
Yeah.
Physiotherapy session.
Physiotherapy session.
All right. Let's say you can service 10 patients daily. Some are going to be repeat patients, right? They're going to be coming over and over again.
Yeah.
But 1 month, how many patients with one?
That is which I was assuming.
It's not 300 patients, 300 slots, and if your 10 patients have to come every day or every other day, if it's you can serve only 10 patients. If it's every other day, then you can serve 20 patients. How many patients? How can you service 100 patients?
Yeah, mistake.
So do the numbers. I want you to do the mathematics of this. Is that if you get a cab, get cost to get a cab customized for the kind of you want it to have interiors. Figure out what do you need to pay. Cost, it's a drug cost and so forth. And then how much money are you making with this 10 times 30, 300 slots per? What are the details of the business? This is not that complicated, right? It's not rocket science. You can figure this out.
Yeah.
Pilot. If you're wanting to do this business, go run a pilot and get it going. It's not a capital-intensive business. This is good. Get funding. No one's going to fund this. People don't fund tiny businesses. it and make it happen.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay? Is all. Okay, he's not calling in, right? Sanu says, I was thinking if people recorded their pitch presentations, which can be seen all effortlessly, and you can ask them questions on their pitch, I think it could be even more smooth and effective. Some idea, the logistics that would go behind trying to do that. To call in or ask questions, you can also call in with slides and just have a quick chat if you want to discuss any specific points. Who are in the room, please tell us who you are, where you're joining from, what project you're working on. We always like to know who's in the room, get to know you a little bit, and businesses. This is a networking opportunity for all of us. And Manoj, mobitrack.in. Where are you located, Manoj? What city in India? Later pitch description of mobitrack.in. Mobile location tracking system for Salesforce and Fieldforce. Okay. If nobody is calling in and nobody has any questions or comments, then I think we're going to wrap up the session. And those of you who want to come and discuss your business with me next time, feel free to book your slot, and more help you get organized. Thank you, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye.